Snow falls. The axe splits oak in one clean crack. You carry the logs inside, drop them into the fireplace, and sit down. Then the moonlight catches your face, and everything goes white. The warmth is gone. All of it. The light shifts from amber to pale, cold silver, and you are no longer in your cabin. You are crouched inside a low shelter made of animal hides stretched over mammoth bones, and the air bites like a blade. Your hands, wrapped in cracked leather, are trembling. Your breath comes out in thick white clouds. Outside, the last bruised light of an ice age sunset bleeds across a frozen steppe. Night is falling, fast. 60 minutes to create fire. Not a spark, not a momentary flame, but a fire that will burn all night and keep you alive until morning. Without it, your core temperature will drop below what your body can sustain, and you will not wake up. But here is the part no one tells you. Fire can save you tonight, or it can fill this tiny shelter with smoke so thick your lungs shut down before the cold ever gets the chance. Fire is your only weapon, and it might be the thing that kills you. You stand, and the motion alone costs you. Your muscles are stiff, joints aching from cold that has settled deep into your bones. The shelter is small, maybe 8 feet across, barely tall enough to stand in at the center. Hides block most of the wind, but gaps let in thin streams of frozen air. This is not a cabin. This is a membrane between you and a world that wants you dead. And you have nothing. No matches, no lighter, no neatly stacked firewood. Everything you need is out there, in the last minutes of gray daylight, buried under snow or frozen to the ground. You push through the hide flap and the wind hits your face like an open hand. The steppe stretches in every direction, white and indifferent. Near the shelter, partially shielded from snow by the hide walls, you spot dead grass, dry stalks poking through the frost. You drop to your knees and start pulling them free with numb fingers, stuffing handfuls inside your furs against your chest to keep them dry. You need tinder. Fine. Dry material that will catch a spark. Without it, nothing else matters. Then, kindling. You scan the edges of a low scrub line 50 paces out. Dead branches, thin as fingers, still attached to the bush and held off the wet ground. You snap them free. They are cold but dry inside. You crack one. The snap is clean. Wet wood bends, dry wood breaks. That sound is the difference between life and death tonight. You gather as much as your arms can carry and stumble back. The light is fading. The temperature is dropping with the sun, and every minute outside accelerates the heat bleeding from your body. And here is a truth that could destroy you before night even starts. If you work too hard, you sweat. If you sweat, your clothing gets damp. If your clothing gets damp, it stops insulating. And when you stop moving, that moisture will freeze against your skin and pull heat from you faster than open air ever could. Paleolithic life demanded this impossible calibration. Work hard enough to survive, but never so hard that the effort becomes the threat. You make one more trip for fuel, thick deadwood from a fallen branch half buried in snow. You kick the snow away, stomp the branch into sections, and drag them back. Inside the shelter, you arrange your materials. Tinder closest, kindling next, larger fuel to the side. You reach for the tools at your belt. 2 stones, flint, sharp-edged and glassy. Iron pyrite, heavy and dull. You have seen this in documentaries. You have never done it with hands this cold, with your life depending on it. You position the tinder nest on the ground, a loose ball of dry grass with a small depression in the center. You hold the flint and strike the pyrite against the edge. Nothing. You strike again. A faint spark leaps and dies. Your fingers are cramping. The cold is not just on you now, it is in you. On the 6th try, a bright spark drops into the tinder and catches. A tiny red ember glows. You do not breathe. You cup your hands around it and blow, gently, steadily. The ember spreads. Smoke curls upward. And then a small tongue of flame licks to life. You feed it immediately. Thin kindling first, laid across the flame like a bridge, letting air pass beneath. The fire grows. Too much too fast and you smother it. Too little and it starves. Within minutes, the flames accept thicker sticks, and you begin to feel something you had almost forgotten. Warmth. Actual warmth, pressing against your face like a living thing. For a moment, the terror loosens its grip. And then the smoke finds you, a sting at the back of your throat, a tightness behind your eyes. The shelter is filling with smoke from the top down. Within minutes, the air above your head is a thick gray haze, and your eyes are streaming. You cough, hard, racking coughs that shake your ribs. The instinct is to open the shelter wide. But if you do that, the heat goes with it, the wind rushes in, and you are right back where you started. This is the puzzle that killed people. You need heat inside and smoke outside, and this shelter does not come with a chimney. Near the top, where the hides meet the bone frame, there is a gap. You pull the hide edge back slightly, opening a vent no wider than your fist. Smoke begins to drift upward and out, pulled by the temperature difference between warm air inside and freezing air outside. You adjust the angle. The smoke thins. You can breathe. But cold air trickles in through that same vent. You shift the fire closer to the entrance, where a natural draft can carry smoke outward without pulling all the warm air with it. It takes 3 tries. You burn your hand on a hot stone. The pain is sharp, immediate, and strangely clarifying. Now comes the longer game. The fire is burning. The smoke is manageable. But you need this fire to last until dawn. 8, maybe 9 hours. And you do not have enough fuel to keep big flames going that long. No one did. This is where the ancient wisdom behind Ice Age survival becomes something you feel in your own hands. You stop feeding sticks and start building a coal bed. You push the burning wood together, let it char, let the flames die to a low, pulsing glow. The goal is not flame, the goal is heat. Coals burn longer, coals radiate heat more steadily. A bed of good coals, banked with ash, can hold heat for hours with minimal fuel. You begin to understand something prehistoric humans knew in their bones. Fire is not a spectacle, it is a relationship. You feed it, manage it, negotiate with it, and if you do it right, it keeps you alive. If you do it wrong, it consumes everything. Night settles in fully. The wind moans across the steppe. Inside, the shelter holds. Not comfortable, not safe, but survivable. You sit close to the coals. Your face is dry and tight from the warmth. Your back, facing the hide wall, is still cold. You rotate periodically, like a planet turning toward its sun. 2 hours in, the loneliness hits, heavier than the cold. You are alone in a way no modern person ever truly experiences. Just the crackle of coals and the wind and your own breathing. And you think about the people who actually lived this. Mothers holding infants through nights exactly like this one. Children sleeping in furs while someone stayed awake to tend the fire. We call them cavemen. We picture them as brutes. But the truth is, they were us. Same brains, same fear, same love. They were brilliant, emotionally complex people solving impossible problems every single night. They were not surviving in spite of their humanity. They were surviving because of it. That myth of the grunting primitive dies right here. Beside this fire, you are barely keeping alive. Around the 4th hour, you almost lose it. You doze off, head dropping to your chest, and when you jerk awake, the coals have dimmed. The air has cooled. Your breath is visible again. You scramble for kindling, blow on the coals until your lungs ache, and coax the fire back. It takes 10 agonizing minutes. That moment of sleep nearly cost you everything. You understand now why fire tending was sacred. Letting the fire die was not carelessness, it was catastrophe. You ration your remaining fuel. 3 thick pieces, you space them out. You pack ash around the coal bed to insulate it. You pull your furs tighter and watch the coals breathe. Orange to red to orange. Alive. Like something with a pulse. The hours crawl. Frost forms on the inner walls where your breath has condensed and frozen. You scrape it away and flick it toward the entrance. Small acts. Constant vigilance. This is what it meant to be human 40,000 years ago. Not grand gestures. Just one small, deliberate decision after another, all night long, every night, for an entire life. And then the quality of darkness changes. The black shifts to deep iron gray. Dawn is not here yet, but its promise is. You feed the last piece of wood to the coals. The fire held. You held. The smoke did not fill your lungs. The cold did not stop your heart. You made it through one night of Ice Age survival, and the cost is written across your body. Cracked lips, raw hands, burning eyes. The victory is real, but paper thin. Your fuel is gone. The coals will not last another hour, and the fire that kept you alive sent a column of smoke into the dark sky that anything could have seen for miles. You are not the only thing that watches, waits, and hunts in the cold. You survived the night, but morning brings its own teeth. If this kept you on the edge, hit subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Drop a like if you felt that cold in your chest. And stay close, because the next one changes everything. Next time, you reach down to feed a dog sitting calmly at your feet. But the moonlight flashes, and when you look again, that dog is a wolf, and the only question left is whether it is here to help you survive or finish what the cold started.